Hello everyone! Happy Halloween! When we last left off, Porky Pig has ended his nightmarish world tour, only to find that someone went and built a creepy castle in his backyard. You know, I actually had a nightmare like that once myself. No joke, there was this hotel at the edge of town, and it was kind of cursed. Let's see here. My uncle was a cop, even though he isn't actually and never was a cop, and he was searching for his partner, and his partner's badge was blowing in the wind. And it's like, crap, something must have gone down at this creepy hotel. And we went into the hotel, and I watched some girl fall from the balcony to her death. It was quite the dream. I don't remember any more details other than that. There was a fountain in the front lot of the hotel, but otherwise it was like dissipated or dilapidated. I think dilapidated is the right word. Anyway, level 6. Welcome to the castle. Oh, that is a noose. I forgot that there was just a noose hanging out in front of this castle. Also, the camera has decided to scroll on up on its own. I have no control over it. There is something going on in the tower. So, before we go into the castle, just to talk about the music. So, all the songs here made it into the final version of the game, and largely intact with only just some minor differences. For example, here on the castle screen, we have the buzzing of the sign there. That is not in the final game. And all the tracks are Super Nintendo quality. In the final version, I mean. That said, I do kind of like the buzzing of the sign, so I think the buzzing of the sign makes this version of the opening song the definitive version. Now, as for the rest of the level, let's check it out. So, this level could have more random weather, could be foggy, could be rainy. And this level has one of the nastiest secrets in the game. So we have these little ponds of water, and there was a fountain over there. If you jump in any of the water, you take damage. Except for this specific spot right here. And we have the return of Manic Daffy. We haven't seen him since level 1. How appropriate that we have once again seen him in the back of level 1. So yeah, this secret. I've found this secret completely by accident. And it kind of makes me paranoid that there's other secrets I might not know about, because other secrets I could use the debug menu to teleport to the secret bonus rooms, and then just figure out where the bonus room is located. But this is part of the same map as down below. There is no warping directly to it. So, here's hoping that there's no other secrets like this that I might have missed. Anyway, I could have just dropped down at the end over there, but let's just go ahead and drop down here and show out the rest of the lower section. It is interesting that there are hedges in Bugs Bunny's likeness, by the way, considering what I know about this level. Although I suppose it could be seen as representing the decapitated head of Bugs Bunny. That would be decor that I could see making sense. Don't flame me. Thank you. So, on the subject of music, The first half of the song has some wind sound effects, which works for a castle courtyard, but oh, I don't know, it's actually kind of a tough choice to go with the beta version of this, or nah, I'm going with the final version of the track. The final version is definitely better. Again, Super Nintendo quality. And up there is the end of the class section. We could have just dropped down onto that fountain. And the castle is just across this gap. However, there is another main secret right over here. This pond is an entrance, leading to the second largest secret area in the game. Tell you what, with the wind blowing down here, it definitely gives me the chills. You know, it totally figures that a castle would have a bunch of gators in its well. I want this. So, if the gators open their mouth and you try to land on them, they basically stop acting as platforms and you fall into the pit. Instant death. But your reward for getting through all that is a lot of lives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 all at once. And into the castle we go. Both paths lead to right here. Try to guess who it is that lives in this castle. Here's a hint. Decapitated topiary. Well, that was a poor jump. That door looks like it's open, but it's not actually open. So, the randomizer does something oh gosh, it's those things. Let's talk about those things first. Those are some flying dynamite from the Roadrunner and Coyote short, Lickety Splat. I want to try something real quick. And by the way, yes, this means that a running gag from the Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons has made it into the game, but the Roadrunner and Coyote themselves are not in the game. Not even as background characters. Ha! You can kill the explosion. These things are the most dangerous things in this final level. This is definitely the hardest level in the game. Unless you're playing on hard mode. In which case, level 5 is the hardest level in the game. Lickety Splat. Okay, I am a big fan of the Roadrunner cartoons. They give me a good chuckle. And Lickety Splat is definitely one of the most entertaining shorts. As for what I was gonna mention a bit ago with the randomizer changes the wallpaper. Yeah, there's no random weather, so random wallpaper. Maybe also changing the decorations, but I don't know. I'll have to figure that out when I hop into the debug menu. Meanwhile, we have these things shooting fire. On easy mode, they do not shoot fire. They're just scenery. A little howling squeal just then in the music. As with the other two songs in this level, the final version is the same song, just in Super Nintendo quality. And I definitely prefer the final version. interesting sound in the music just then. But the final version, not only a higher quality, but it skips the opening of this song and goes straight into the main melody, really letting you know that, hey, this is the final dungeon. And there seems to be a kangaroo rat bouncing down there. I'm pretty sure that rat is supposed to be based on, I think his name is Hippity Hop, who is a baby kangaroo who resembles a mouse. Whoever made this anime must have gotten equally as confused as Sylvester often does. Because Hippity Hop is not a mouse. He's also not blue. I'm just gonna go in here. Wait, where is it? Oh, I have to jump. In the last secret room in the game. Another room that I didn't know about until I was fiddling around the debug menu. Dada! Hippity Hop also did not split into two mice. Though now I want to see a kangaroo turn into a mouse. I wonder what would happen to the contents of its pouch. Like, would everything be pushed out, or... Really glad, by the way, that there's checkpoints. This section would be quite the gauntlet without. There's gonna be holes along the way. Don't fall in the holes. You will obviously lose progress. I am probably going to lose another life by the time I reach the end of this room. Guarantee just about that I will need that checkpoint. By the way, can I just say how it slightly irks me that... Hold that thought. It is kind of a lot of enemies right here. That when you stop walking, Porky turns around the other direction. He's technically still facing to the right as far as the programming is concerned, but he just kind of turns around. Yeah, I knew that was there. And this one I want to jump over. And... ugh. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Panic jump. Survived it. Any more coming? Yep. You know, very good idea to just scoot the camera ahead. Also, really good idea to duck there. You gonna drop down again? Ah, fireball! Oh my goodness, I actually made it through that room. By the skin of my teeth. And we have reached the pool area of the castle. Well, the villain is a duck. No monsters allowed. Good thing I'm not a dragon anymore. Well, I was trying to decide, is the water damage or instant death? I couldn't quite remember. Well, I have unintentionally discovered the answer. That reminds me, years ago I used to keep track of how many deaths I acquired in a playthrough. I stopped doing that a long time ago, when I stopped editing my videos. I wonder how many deaths I am up to on this run. I'm gonna guess maybe 8 by now. That robot, by the way, can shoot lightning. Surprised it hasn't already. I'm pretty sure it can shoot lightning on normal mode, not on easy mode. Oh boy, this section. Hold on. I drew up a map of this level as well. It's straightforward, but I wanted to make note of where certain paths lead. And it looks like the first path I want to show is the upper path. Though for future reference, the lower path is the better path. You wouldn't expect it. Lower seems like the failure path. But the lower path is the path that leads to a 1-up. Whereas this path leads to a checkpoint. Which I will be undoing as soon as I load state. I will load state as soon as we reach the end of this. A lot of Acme boxes around here, by the way. You think these robots were built by Acme? It would not at all surprise me. Also, I told you that they shoot lightning. And this is where the paths converge. So, load state and I'll show you the lower path. I have no idea how I am managing to land on these enemies sometimes. But I am not complaining. Dada! Okay, hold on a sec. Dangerous predicament right here. So was that. You know, I can just imagine the sound of Porky's hooves clacking on the tile. I've learned that that is a sound that you kind of have to get used to. And got used to it, I have. It's actually not too far off from the sound of high heels. As an aside, I have never worn high heels, except for the one time. They were not comfortable. I cannot imagine having to wear those professionally. Oh, they shoot both ways. Good to know. You know, these life preservers are not very good at their job if they just drop into the water and you die. Ugh. Yeah, this is more what I was expecting with these robots. They can really snipe you. 1 up. And a couple of hearts for good measure. I was not expecting that to go as low as it did. Alright, we have reached the top of the tower, where we saw some sort of experiment being performed. Now, who is ready for one of the most underwhelming final bosses ever. So, what we have here is the Chaos Machine, who strongly resembles Herman the Robot from the short Daffy Rents, in which Daffy Duck was using Herman to catch Speedy Gonzales. And speaking of Daffy, here he is, Count Daffy Duck, who is controlling Herman. In order to win this fight, we have to stun Daffy, because otherwise, yeah, that's going to be an issue, especially with the sparks on top of Herman. So, we're just going to go ahead and sit here, wait for Herman to return. And this is going to be the fight. Also, yes, this is the final boss music. It's just noise. And would you believe the final version of the game is even worse? I mean, the beta actually has different pitches for the noise. There we go! We win with 85 lives. I definitely don't think I could have reached 99. Well, that is the end of the nightmare. Or is it? Okay, how did Porky's eyes pass over another pair of eyes? Also, while those eyes are definitely creepy, they don't seem to be malicious, which actually makes them even more creepy, like a false sense of security. Who is Charles Lawrence? I need to look that up. Okay, well, apparently there's a whole bunch of Charles Lawrences out there. I'm betting that they're not talking about the British Army officer who lived from 1709 to 1760. He's also not listed in the game's credits. Oh hey, the Chaos Machine was supplied by Acme, so I guess all those robots really were from Acme. Anyway, that is the end of Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday. What do I think of it? It's alright. I like the exploration. I like that it's a decently made Porky Pig game. Porky himself is well animated, usually. But the game is not perfect. The level design is good for exploration, but it can be confusing if you're just trying to get through the levels, especially Wacky Land. Most of the bosses are interesting enough, except for Tweety and the Chaos Machine. And then there's the music. Regardless which version you play, the music is a mixed bag, with the bosses having some of the weakest tracks. Also, the credits is just the Wacky Land song, which is kind of a lame reward for beating the game. With that said, which version of the game has the better soundtrack? The beta version or the final version? Well, in the case of the beta version, the audio quality is more consistent, disregarding the composition. The beta version has some extra songs that were used, like the victory themes, and some of the songs that made it into the final version were cut in half, or worse. Joe's Gold Star awarded to Kev B. Wouldn't mind knowing the story behind that. Anyway, despite some of the faults with the final soundtrack, I actually kinda prefer it. I like the final version of the Haunted Woods more than the beta version, and the castle music is just better in the final version, and I like a strong finish. And even in instances that I preferred the beta track, the final track is usually a good alternative. Like with the Abandoned Mines, I picked the beta track mainly because the final track cut half the song. Otherwise, the final track is still one of the better songs in the game. The only song that I really wish was kept from the beta version, I mean besides the merry title screen music, is Dry Gulch Town. Like seriously, why did the final song get cut so short?
That's all, folks.
Game over! Yeah, this is the game over screen. Well, I'm definitely glad that they included the Porky closing. And by the way, that is the song that makes it into the final version of the game. And they only use it for the game over screen, not the title screen. Although the final version of this song is ear-grating. So, yeah, this is not necessarily a perfect game, but I do think it's enjoyable enough. I'll probably revisit it again sometime. Maybe the next time I can rack up even more lives. Now then, before we end this, I'm going to go ahead and reset the game and meet you in the music test. Because there is a song here of particular interest. Song number 28. Let's take a listen. This song was intended for the final battle. Rather than being just a bunch of noise, they had planned to use an actual song. Now, how do I know this song was intended for the final boss? That's how. The noise is integrated into this song. Now, why in the world did this song not get used? Was the noise just a placeholder track that they forgot to replace? Or maybe the fight is so short, they decided we wouldn't be able to hear the full song anyway. Regardless, the final battle would have been so much more interesting had this song been used. So, you know what? We're going to end this video with this song. Give it its due recognition. However, we're not done with this game yet. Remember, I've got the debug menu to show off. It's nothing fancy, it's not going to allow me to break the game, but I think it'll be interesting enough to deep dive into. Hopefully, I'll have that bonus episode for y'all tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'm trying to get some outside help figuring out how it works. But if not tomorrow, I'll have that bonus episode ready for y'all soon enough.